relevant information. We don't hold back. Topics from ministry, life, marriage, and everything in between. So, buckle up, hold on tight. Here are your hostesses, Tara and Melody. Talk therapy. Sister, let's talk.
Hello, 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 you guys. How are you tonight? My co-host will be on in just a minute. I see her coming. Um, we're excited tonight. I want to welcome you to the Talk Therapy Show. Make sure you just log it in, like and share. This is going to be a hot topic. My co-host will be on in a minute. We're running a little bit behind, but we are excited to bring. Maybe you got some background noise. We're excited to let me just mute your mic for a minute. We're excited to be on today, and guess what? I know you guys have read the topic. You know, it's don't. Let me unmute Melody. I am your host, Tara T. Stallings. The topic tonight is don't believe the hype, and we are excited. This is going to be a great show tonight. If you tuned in last week, it was good. It was hot. We're already real, raw, and relevant. Melody, you have some background noise.
I don't have anything on in the room.
It's something.
I don't have anything on.
Okay. Sound like the mic is going off. Some static. Maybe let me see if it's my music. Let's see. Well, we don't know what it is, but guess what? We're gonna make it work.
Yeah, because I don't have anything on.
Yeah. So make sure you guys, if you're just tuning in, logging in, make sure.
I lost her.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Yeah.
I lost you for a minute.
Yeah, I took the mic out. I was trying to see if that was that background noise, but it's not. But oh well.
What did it sound like?
Some static. It's not making it now.
Say something again.
I hear it now.
It's on your end.
Yeah, I don't know what it is though. So don't worry about it. We're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going tonight because this topic is a very, very good topic. Hold on, let me see what this is. Let's see.
It's you?
Yeah. I don't hear it anymore, so yeah, I hear it a little bit. It's okay. So make sure you guys, if you're just tuning in, Facebook, Periscope, YouTube, make sure you like and share. Subscribe to our page. Tonight's topic, we have just started talking and going and working all day. Haven't introduced ourselves. I am your host, Tara T. Stallings, and
I'm Melody Manning. How y'all doing today?
Our topic tonight is don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. And guess what? It's too many people that believe in the hype.
It is. It really is.
I think I need to adjust, but it's too many people that have believed the hype. Whether it's social media, television, society, people, church. People are just believing the hype. They are believing the hype, and they are living their lives out of a false reality. So tonight we are just gonna jump into it, Mayor.
You ready to jump into it?
Let's jump into it. Make sure you guys, if you are just tuning in, to like and share. I want to say something before we get started, because if for those people that actually follow me on Facebook, you should know by now that I always, for those, wait a minute, they know that I always post a controversial topic. Well, and maybe you don't know, but I always post something that's thought provoking and controversial. Because, and the reason I do that is because I want people to think. Stop living their lives off what somebody else said. Because I've learned this in life. There is the truth, and there are truths. And sometimes we live our lives off of truth and not the truth. Because just because somebody said it, it may be their truth, but it may not be the truth. And we take things when people tell us, or we read it, or it sounds good, or whatever, and we take it for the truth. And it may be a truth. And one thing I learned about truth, it can be 99% truth. But if 1 ounce of it, 1% is a lie, it dismantles that whole truth. So we have to make sure it doesn't take a whole lot of falsity to change the whole dynamics of what was a truth. So I want to say that. So I had a young lady this morning. I made a post. I know when I'm on my word, I'm making posts, and I had a young lady. She said, "Well, you getting offended," and I had to make sure I apologize, because y'all know how I talk. I'm just real. I'm just real. I don't get offended at all easily. And I say things to make you think. So if I said something that offended you, I promise you, it's not on purpose. It's just how I'm just gonna, I'm gonna say it. It's my way, the way I say it, and it's not. Don't take it to your heart. Put it on your shoulder. Work it on off. So, Mel, I said my piece. Come on, let's get started.
Well, what we're going to talk about is don't believe the hype, because social media is controlled content. And a lot of us, we end up buying into, are emotionally affected by what we may see on someone posting on social media. Mm-hmm. So when I say social media is controlled content, most of the time people are not posting the negative that they're going on in their lives. They're only posting the positive, which there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. But what happens is we then assume that they have no problems. They don't have anything going on that they're worried about. We think that life is all peaches and creams for that person. And then it starts to affect another person. You have people that become secretly in competition with that person, envious of that person, jealous of that person, and wanting to do what that person does, which then can cause you to be all over the place in what you're doing. So what we're going to talk about, and I want to focus on today, is being able to stay in your own lane and not getting caught up in somebody else's hype. Today when we were at lunch, and I had meant to make this post this morning, sometimes some of us just need to be entrepreneurs and stop trying to be celebrities. Because you got a lot of people that are confusing being an entrepreneur with being a celebrity. They feeling the hype, of what they think being an entrepreneur is. And we have to realize that if you're going to be an entrepreneur, be an entrepreneur. And, not just in being a business owner, whatever you may be doing, just do what you're doing. Some celebrity may come with it, but let's not be doing it, just for a celebrity status, because entrepreneurship is a hard thing. When you're a true entrepreneur, It's
Yeah.
a hard thing. Your emotions are every day up, and down. One day you worried about, hey, am I gonna make my goal for this month? What do I need to be doing next? Then the next day you may be up because your sales are out the window, above the roof for that particular day. Then next 2 days, well, they drop. And you're like, okay, now what can I do? So
Yeah.
entrepreneurs, our emotions are everywhere. It's not an easy thing. And relationships can be that way sometimes as far as friendships, because some people be like, well, my friend ain't called me in a day or two, or they're busy doing something else. So it's just learning how to stay focused on what you have going on.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with you. So often we get caught up. And I hate that noise. I don't know what it is, but it is what it is. Don't know what it is, but we get caught up looking at what other people are posting or looking at their lives and say, "Ooh," or thinking, "Oh, they are doing so good. They are prospering. They're, here. They're successful." And Canva, Canva, which is the app, can make you look like you doing something and you are not. And it's so many people that are looking up to people thinking that, oh, they're doing this and they're doing that, and they're not. And Mel said something. Be an entrepreneur. Stop trying to be famous. So many people are doing things, and I won't even say they're doing the right thing. They're just doing things so that they can be noticed or make a dollar.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I learned about making a dollar, if you're trying to make it quick, a quick dollar leaves quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to be very careful when we're doing things, especially with this rise of influencers, of life coaches, of people that want to be motivators. You better make sure when you're following somebody, you better know what they're rooted in because they may influence you down a path you may not be ready to go.
True. True.
So you have to
And
be very careful when you're
yeah.
following people. Because see, one thing about I've learned in life, it's a difference in what people say and what people do. And I don't care who it is, if it's from the top to the bottom. If their character and their lifestyle is not uh, reflecting what they're saying, don't follow those people. Don't follow those people. See, you can't, and I'm just gonna be honest. You cannot out of one mouth be holding and giving scripture and how much you praying here and this and this, and then honey, on the weekend you on the table with your butt up in the air. You can't do that. Can't get scriptures during the week. Can't get scriptures during the week. And then on the weekend, come Friday, you dropping it like it's hot, cold, and whatever else. You can't do that. You can't mix the two. Because see, once you listen, let me tell you something. If you lie on the way up, when you get there, that lie is gonna catch up with you and you're gonna have to fall. That fall is gonna be real hard. Work on your character. Stop doing things for money. Stop doing it
Mm,
for money. If it's not a passion, don't do it because you're gonna be exposed and it's not gonna be good for you when you come falling, tumbling down.
mm.
So we got to be
Wow.
careful who we're following.
And that is so true, because one of the things that and I really pay close attention to Facebook when I'm on there and I'm scrolling. I do see a lot of people that are getting into what we consider to be a trend, and they're doing things and following things that are a trend, but then you have to question, do they really know what they're getting into? as far as certain things. And do you know what you're really getting into, and do you know where you're leading other people with
Oh,
what
say
you're
that
getting
again,
into?
Melody.
Because that's a big responsibility
Mhm.
to have, because you are leading other people to follow you. And then even if you know what you're doing, are you totally okay with leading other people to what you're doing?
Yeah.
So that I've been seeing a lot of that, because we do have a lot of things that are trendy right now, because we have so many people that are moving into entrepreneurship, and moving into entrepreneurship. Let me say that in moving into entrepreneurship, they are now sharing other things as far as religion, different practices, different things. And I do question, do they know what they are really getting
Mhm.
into, and what they are presenting other people with, the whole backstory? Or are
Mhm.
they dabbling in it because it's a popular thing right now? And I'm just gonna say this one. Right now, faith based is a trending business right now. Be it T-shirts, be it a lot of products. You're starting to see scriptures on stuff. You're seeing more faith things tied into people's business right now. It is a trending thing. But even with that, if you're going into that business and you're sharing, you still have to have a level, how can I say it, of responsibility, because you're being accountable for being held accountable for what you're sharing.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Somebody said, don't follow foolishness. Well, I'm always a thought provoker. Yes, religion, faith based, whatever it is, whatever faith it is, it's popular now. And I see a lot, well, I can't cope. I see a lot of this Egyptianology, and I'm not, if that's what you serve, that's your business. That's like Tabitha say, that's your business. But you can't mix those two things. So you can't mix. If you're a Christian and you follow, well, I don't even like to use the word Christian. I like to say believer other way, because the word Christianity was like a picking name that they used. So a believer of the way of Yahweh, because he is the way, the truth, and the light. You can't mix all of this stuff, and especially I see African American people getting into stuff, whether it be Christianity, Egyptianology, Ocean, Urambe, whatever it is, Santeria, whatever it is, they get in this stuff and they don't even know what it is. I have,
Okay.
even in Christianity, people, because and I'm not picking at one religion or another. I'm not. I'm talking about, because you have people that in Christendom that don't know what the Bible says. They know the scriptures that they heard grandma, big mom, the pastors, they know the base, I call it base scriptures. They know them. They know those scriptures, but they don't even know what their Bible say. But, oh, I'm a Christian. No, you're not. Going to church does not make you a Christian. And like I said, I don't even like to use that word. I like to use believer, follower of the way. That doesn't make you that. I know. What makes you a believer is when you believe in something, that means you trust in it, you adhere to it, and you live it. Not just on Sunday and Wednesday. It's a lifestyle. And you can't live something that you don't know. Buying a stone, buying some sage, buying a cross, getting your Bible doesn't make you a Christian. Just like it doesn't make you a part of those other religions. And a lot of times you get engrafted into stuff because it's popular. This is what people are doing now. Or somebody told you something, it sounded good. and you get caught up in stuff that you don't know what you're getting caught up in. And then when it don't work for you, you get disappointed or your life get in shambles because you done opened up some spiritual gates. I'm just gonna say it what it is. You don't know what's going on. Go ahead, man. Because I'm trying to be good today.
But well, all of it leads back to it. You know, stay stay in your own lane, because like today at lunch we were talking about some things that how a lot of people think. Um you can't jump on jump in at the end. Let's say it like this: you can't read the end of the book and have all the knowledge about the book without going to the beginning of the book and getting the understanding and the history for yourself. And that's in anything.
Mm-hmm.
um I'm gonna say it like this: even with relationships, you can't just jump at the end of it without taking the time to get to know the person and knowing the background of the person to make a decision about your end result.
Mm-hmm.
So even when we're looking at things on social media, that's the end result for that moment. When they get on there and they post that picture of them being happy, of them being smile, of them smile, that's the end result of them practicing for the camera. Or they may genuinely be happy that day. But what we didn't see is that minute before that picture was snapped, the
Mm-hmm.
hour before that picture was snapped, the day before that picture was snapped. Because again, people only share what they want you to know. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to be confident in yourself and have your journey for yourself. Be able to stay focused on what you're doing. And the reason I'm saying this is because I'm I've changed the way I view some stuff. I'm going to use Melody as an example. Um, and what I do, I'm a certified life coach, and I have coaches that I actually follow. I have a coach as well, and I noticed in the coaches that I was following, I had started trying to emulate them, which is not good because I don't really know them. I
Mm-hmm.
had to kind of cut that off some, and I really had to say, okay, Melody, what is it that you want to give? What are you all about? What is going to be your mission with your coaching practice or whatnot for your clients? Now, in that, I haven't given up learning, but I had to go back to the basics. Let me get back to studying on what I originally started studying on, as to information about coaching, so I can offer better information for my clients versus following this person and be like, okay, they doing this, they doing that. That gets you off track. And I'm focusing on them because more than likely, when we're following somebody or looking up to somebody, we're studying everything they're doing and we want to be like that. And we're thinking, oh, I got to do this to be like her. This is success. She's successful and I need to do this to be her. But no, you just need to be the best person that you can be.
Mm-hmm.
Start and get your information, because some of her teaching and some of her practices may not be sound teaching.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't know that because you're at the end and you're skipping the beginning of the studying and getting the information and doing what you need to do. And this is not just for when you apply this. I'm not just saying this is for religion. This should be steps you take in everything:
Yes.
friendships, marriages, business, employment. Stay stay focused on you, because so many times we get off track. We're watching what everybody else is doing. And in that watching what everybody else is doing, it may not be factual, it may not be true. They may not have the best information. So we have to get what we need for ourselves
Yes.
and
Okay.
don't get caught up in the hype of everything what everybody else is doing, because then that leads us, and a lot of us that suffer from anxiety, you're suffering because you're watching what everybody else doing.
Exactly. Now I'm gonna read what one of our viewers said, which is so true. And she said this, for instance, I see people running into establishments that have Buddha and other idols and say, well, it's none of my business what they do, but it is because you're allowing them to pour into you and to touch you. That goes right back to what you said. You have to know who it is. And a lot of people say, well, you can learn from anybody. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. But if you don't know, and I'm going to use the backstory, I'm going to use that word because that's what the young people know. If you don't know the backstory behind why they're telling you what they're telling you, you get caught up in their conundrum. You get caught up in their backstory. Because when you're having conversation with people, it's not just conversation. When you start accepting what people are telling you, you accept a part of who they are when you really don't know who they are. Now, you can learn from a dog. Let me just say that. You can learn from anyone. It's a difference from taking information and accepting the essence of who they are and making it your own. Because when you do that and you don't know that person, you don't know the character of that person, you open a doorway for yourself for danger. For danger. I noticed a lot of times because everybody's doing it. Things people do. Oh, it's just, it's just this, and it's just that. Listen, let me just say this. I learned this. Everything that you do in your life, it matters. Every word that you speak, every place that you go, every relationship that you enter, every business deal that you conduct, every book that you read, everything, every television show that you watch, every music artist that you listen to, a musical song, everything in your life, it matters. Consciously or non-consciously, it affects who you are as a person. May not affect you today, but down the road, it may affect you. So we have to be very careful. Very, very careful. Because so many people, and Melody, you said, people follow people, don't know who they are. Well, a lot of times I've noticed people follow people and gravitate to people and gravitate to their ways because they're not settled a lot of times in who they are. They're still trying to find their way. Now, do I believe in taking information? Yeah. Can I glean? We'll use that word, glean. Oh, I'm going to use that. I'm going to take that. Yeah, I do it all the time because it's something that's a part of who I already am. And like you said, you had to go back to your basics and say, hey, wait a minute. That sounds good. That sounds good. But this may not work for my purpose, for my goal, for the people that I am supposed to influence and impact. And if we stay focused on what everybody else is doing, we miss that group of people that we are purposed for. Mm-hmm. You're not purposed for everybody in the world. You are not. You are purposed for the group of people that you have been assigned to. Be okay with that. Because listen, numbers does not mean success. You can have 10,000 followers and be broke. And you can have 100 and be blessed and be rich. So you gotta just be careful and know who you are, know your purpose, and stop believing what everybody is saying to you. Stop believing what social media says. Oh, you need that, you need this, you need this. You gotta have so many followers. And if you don't, because let me tell you something. The more people that follow you, when you make your post, you got a lot of people that's gonna be saying something
Yeah.
that you may not like.
Yeah.
That you may not like. So you have to be careful.
That's very true. And in that, what you're saying is everyone is not for you. A lot of people got to get to the point where they're comfortable with everybody not being for them, because we are raised, we're in a society where we think quantity is success, and we don't see it any other way, and that's not true. Because I used to say all the time, people think that the popular crowd is the winning crowd, and that's not necessarily the truth at all. They are just that popular, they getting together and whatnot. And busy does not mean success, because you can be busy all the time and not be successful.
Please say
You
that
can
one.
appear, you can you can be busy and not be successful, because I know a lot of people who are busy all the time. They are everywhere, but if their bank account had to reflect for all of the places that they were, you would really be shocked,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because it doesn't. You would think, oh, they really, but no, busy does not equal success. You've
Mm-mm.
got to get comfortable in not being for everybody, because you're not for everybody. What's going to happen is you are going to attract the people that are for you.
Yes.
And we've got, that's the biggest issue. We've got to get to a point where we're okay that we're not for everybody, because let's be honest, everybody wants to be liked by everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
in that wanting to be liked by everybody, it is so easy to lose yourself. And I think we touched on this a little bit last week, because in that, then you're one way with this group, you're another way with another group. To a while, after a while, you're so confused that you don't know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got to constantly get up and show up for this group and that group. And then behind closed doors, you're not really happy with it. And in the end, they really don't know you genuinely, because you had to put on that mask and that act to be part of that crowd at that moment.
Yes, definitely. I truly agree with that. That's just, and I think that's a part of the society that we have kind of been conformed to. We've been conformed to looking at people and saying, hey, I got to do it like that. That looks good. So let me try to do it this way. Or let me try to do it that way. It's the popular thing. Let me be here. Let me be there. Let me do this. And like I said before, it's a difference in people, what people say and what people do. Just because they're popular, being you see them, it doesn't mean that they're successful. It doesn't mean that they're happy, and it doesn't mean that they are living the life that they portrayed. Now we just saw this drama last week with Will and Jada. But I'm just gonna go because it is. They was portrayed the loving, happy couple. They portrayed that every time you saw them, they were just so loving. And even they put on a nice show for y'all the other day at the red table. They still acted. They put on a nice acting show for the world. Like they've been acting forever. But guess what? Nobody is always happy. Nobody. Nobody is. So that people put on and give you, what they want you to see, and then you just get sucked right into it, believing, oh, you don't know these people. You don't know these people on social media. You don't know these celebrities. You don't know what they're doing. They might be eating children, and you oh, they good people. You don't know anything about them people except what they allow you to see on television or on social media. You know nothing about them, but yet you want to emanate them. You want to be like them. You don't know anything about these people. And I'm gonna leave that alone, Mel. Go ahead.
Well, we have already decided we definitely gonna have a show and talk about that. And there are some things that we can actually discuss from that, and we can learn from that red talk table, from some facts that were given during that discussion. Now some other things we really can't talk about, because we can only speculate about it. But
Mm-hmm.
there were some facts that were given at that table that are questionable, and they're not so much, to me, questionable about their relationship, because that's their relationship. They're two grown people, and if
Mm-hmm.
they understand their relationship and they both agree to be this way in their relationship, their marriage, or whatever, that's their business. But
Mm-hmm.
there were some actions that are very questionable, on Jada's end, to me personally. Now,
Mm-hmm.
and let me say this: I'm not saying that I agree with open marriages, because me personally, I don't want an open marriage. But a lot of folks walking around in one anyway and don't even know it. But again, that's a whole nother discussion. Some don't even know it, but that's a whole nother show. you know,
Oops. Oops.
but there are some things that's questionable about what she did, and I'm not talking about the affair,
Mm-hmm.
her having an affair within the marriage, but there were some other things that are questionable to me. But
Yes.
anyway, we have to be very careful, because what may work for one person may not work for another person. And
Mm-hmm.
people, they do look at what you're doing. You have women that look at their friend's relationship with their partner and be like, well, this is how my relationship should be. And then they take that home, and the man looking at them like, who the heck are you? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So you have to be comfortable with being in your own self, because what may work for you may not work for the next person.
Exactly. Exactly.
We're all different. Be careful in who you are. Focus on what you've got going on. Focus on your business. Grow your business. Into your relationship. Focus on your relationship, because you can't be fully there for your partner if you worry about what Susie got going on in her relationship and how her relationship going.
That's right.
Because somebody lacking somewhere. That's time you could be spending with your partner, getting to know your partner, but you trying to make your relationship like Susie's relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and Susie might be getting her head knocked off every night behind closed doors.
Say that, please. Say that.
You,
So
so we
yeah.
have to learn to focus on us. If you're in school and you giving it all that you've got, be okay with that. And then I'm gonna say this: if you're in technical school, if you're getting a certification, be okay with it. You may not be the person for that master's degree. You may not be the person for that bachelor degree. Be comfortable and be okay with where you're at. Because that's a whole nother show anyway.
No, go ahead.
Let's be real. Some people with trades and stuff making more than folks that's got all these degrees.
I was about to say that.
You
Yeah.
just you gotta change. You've got to know what success means to you. And
Mm-hmm.
success does not always equivalent to a big bank account.
Nope.
That's what we've got it confused at. Success does not mean driving a Mercedes or a BMW.
Nope.
Success does not, you know, is not the equivalent of a big house with five
Mm-mm.
bedrooms in it. You
Mm-mm.
know, success is not, the equivalent of wearing name brand clothes. That's not what success is. Because I know people who got all of that, and if you pop the trunk on that Mercedes, all their clothes in the trunk. But
Yes.
we think they're successful because they're driving that Mercedes. We
Mm-hmm.
have gotten it so fixated in our brain that, oh, they got to have it going on because they driving a Mercedes. And I'm gonna say this to ladies: you passing by the man in the Altima, looking at the Mercedes, and the Mercedes got all his clothes in the trunk.
Look, and still paying on it.
And he waiting to try to get in your bed because he needs somewhere to live.
Say, girl, say
But
that, please.
we have to we got to get past all of that. And
Mm-hmm.
once we get past all of that, we ourselves can be relieved some, because again, it takes the anxiety off of us. So many of us have success all screwed up and backwards to we driving ourselves crazy trying to attain what we think is success. It
Mm-hmm.
is not really success.
That's
That may
right.
not be success to you,
Yeah.
you know.
I totally agree. I totally agree. And so many people, Mel, they are doing just that. They're looking at the materialistic things, want to look good to society, but they don't even look good to themselves. They don't even know who they are.
Yeah.
And we following after them thinking, oh, they doing something. No, what you're doing is nothing. You're not even happy. You got to drink yourself to sleep at night. Or
Mm.
you gotta get high so you can go to sleep so you won't be tossing and turning because you have anxiety. You know, that's what success is, being at peace with yourself and who you are and your purpose.
And
That's
let
what
me
success
say,
is.
that's what's and
That's
you
what
have
it
each,
is.
each person has to determine not what society says success is, but what do you say success is to you.
Yes.
You know, that's what we have to get comfortable with and be comfortable with it, or we're gonna always be chasing something.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna be looking at other people, comparing and judging and saying, why am I not there?
Yes.
And trying to obtain something that may take you out of your purpose. Because being in your purpose does not always mean that you're gonna be filthy rich,
Mm-mm-mm.
you know.
But you
But
have
that's a
people, look,
whole nother
but you
show.
have people that's filthy rich that would trade their wealth for a night of rest
Yes.
because they are tormented. They can't rest at night. They're not happy. They would trade their wealth for it
Yeah.
because they
For
can,
that peace
for peace. We think
and
because we're
genuine
gonna,
relationships.
yes, they got a lot of people, leeches that's around them, leeching off of them. So we have to again define what success is and stop looking at people and we think because, like you said, things and stuff. You have people that live in houses with $2,500 a month mortgages, and they sleeping on the floor eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. But you riding by saying, "Oh, they got a beautiful house. They barely paying for it. They starving. They have anxiety because they can't. They taking all their money to pay for it.
Mhm.
You have to stop looking at other people. Stop believing the hype on what you see. Because just because you know what the old people used to say, Mel, believe none of what you hear and half of what you see. Because your perception, because just because you see it doesn't mean it's the truth. You perceiving things wrong because people can present anything to you.
Mhm.
Just because something looks like it's something, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's what it is. Or just
Mhm.
because someone tells you something or you heard something doesn't mean that's what, even if you read something, it doesn't mean that that's what it is.
True.
A couple of weeks ago, I was reading an article of a young lady that's being sued. She's an author that plagiarized, wrote a book, sold millions of copies, but she plagiarized the information in that book. Took somebody else's book and wrote that information and
A
plagiarized
couple of
that
people.
information. Yeah, right. A couple of people, and they are suing her. Didn't cite it, said it as hers. So she is a fraud. She's giving you information, influencing people off of what somebody else said, not her revelation. She just doing it because, oh, this is what got them rich. So I'm gonna go back and tell it. Well, first of all, that was dumb because people know their information. People
Yeah.
know their information. People know
Yeah.
what they
And
know.
you can actually do a search. You know, this is one thing they teach you in school because this is how teachers grade your paper. They can search phrases, they can search paragraphs, and they can tell you originally where it came from. So
Yes.
I don't understand, and I haven't really followed that closely. But I don't understand how she did not know. And then, from the little clip I saw on it, she then put it on the people that she was writing the book with. They knew. So I didn't understand the whole thing. You
It was
all knew.
it was Jada and Will at the red table. Okay, we have a question. We have a question. I'm gonna read a question, and I'm gonna let you answer it. Why do we as believers keep allowing people to pour into us and then justify their ungodly behavior by saying that's on them? But if we keep watching and listening to them, eventually what's on them will be on us. What you say about that, Mayor?
Well, that it is on them. I'm gonna say that it is on them. But what is on you is you don't have to accept it. If you continue, let me say this. Let me start back over. The key word is poor. And in that question, the key word to me is poor. I can sit down, and we said this at lunch today. I can sit down and I can listen to anybody. And in listening to them, I know how to pull out. Okay, I'll take that. No, I'm not gonna take that. I'll take that. No, I'm not gonna take that. And even what I'm taking from you, if it's something pertaining to the word, then it should line up with the word. I should be able to go get my Bible, not just what I hear them saying. I should then be able to go get my Bible, and it should line up with what the Bible is saying. Now, if you continue to take all of that, because the key word again is pour. So when something's being poured into it, you're accepting it. You have an option of not being poured into. Because if everything that they're saying is erroneous, then you need to block it and say, no, you can't pour nothing into my cup because I don't agree with what you're saying. What you're saying is not lining up with the word. And in the end, they are responsible for what they're doing. We can only be responsible for ourselves, whether we accept it or not accept what that person is pouring out. And then, like I said, whatever they pouring, I'm getting in the word. Do it line up with the word?
Yeah.
Do it match? And then sometimes you can get to a level where you can listen to somebody. Like I said, you can say, "Yeah, I can take that." No, that ain't right. That don't line up. Yeah, you got it. Because that way, you should be that way all the time.
Whether it's the word or anything else.
Yeah, there are things. So like you said, you can learn from a dog.
Mm-hmm.
Even some of the erroneous people, yeah, you can learn from because the first thing you can learn is, nah, I better not do that.
Come on. Yes, that's true. That is so
No, I better
true.
not do that because it doesn't line up with it. But if when you say poor, that means you're sitting there by
Absorbing.
choice,
Mm-hmm.
taking what they're pouring out to you.
Yeah.
But you have an ultimate responsibility to get in the word yourself and study that to see if what they're saying actually lines up with the word. And
Yeah.
then one thing is you have to remember you got to go a little further than the word because sometimes it's gonna cause you to get some other books to have to pull out some other stuff to get read so you can get a clear understanding of all of the background history on
Mm-hmm.
certain things.
Yep.
And that's why now I'm getting ready to go a whole nother way. That's what Bible study is for. That's what Sunday school is for. That's things that our mamas, our grandmas, the great grandmas tried to instill it. Because those are those times if you got a question, ask that question. And whoever the teacher is or whatnot, they shouldn't have a problem answering your question if you want to know. Because just like you said, they're pouring into you.
Mm-hmm. And
I
then
don't
when
want
they
to answer
answer
the
the question,
question.
I would say, even when people answer the question, you need to go back and make sure that what the answer that you got lining up with what the word, because a lot of times people will, just like you have teachers, they will give you their opinion or give you their ideologies out of what you read or what they taught you, and that may not, or their perception of it, and it may not be the truth. It may be their truth. So that's why we really have to go in and research things for ourselves.
We
You
have
know,
to.
and research and then compare. See, and let me say this. You have to have one standard first. You can't go and research stuff when you don't have a standard. Whatever your standard is, whatever it is, whatever you're researching should line up with the standard. Because if it's not lining up with the standard, wait a minute. And then let me say this part. If you're researching and all the research you are finding is dismantling your standard, then you're gonna have to reevaluate. Because see, you may have a standard, and all the research that you're finding is dismantling your standard. Then you're gonna have to go back and reevaluate everything. Because we can get a lot of information. We can get a lot of information because we have to be very careful with research. You get a lot of information because of this. We in the information age. We got people writing books and telling stuff, and you know, but you have to make sure that the information that you're getting is lining up with your standard. You know, there's the old saying: if everybody tell a lie long enough, it becomes the truth. Because we believe it. If everybody start telling the same lie, we start believing the truth. And we never researched if they were telling a lie now. We just take it for a truth. We never go and research it. We never go and research it. We just say, well, we let them pour into us that lie. Well, that's what they said. Well, how do you know what they said is the truth if you never researched it?
Mm-hmm.
If you never researched it, how can you be valid in your perception, in your truth, in your saying if you never go back and you never research it? You have to. I mean, that's just. But too often, because, and I'm gonna say this because we are people are lazy. They just they lazy. I don't know. I ain't have time to research, honey. No, you better research. Research. Now, everybody, I like to research because I like to know my why, and I like to be valid. I like to be valid. I don't just want to tell you a truth. I want to because I have a standard that I live by. I live my life by it, and I will defend it to the end. Period. The end. Whatever. So, if I'm going to defend something, I don't care what it was. I was like that when I was, young and wrong. Let me say that. Young and wrong. I was wrong, and honey, if I believed it, I'm going to defend it. I will fight for it, cuss you out, and cut you. Now, and I'm still, that's part of my character. So until you can give me some definitive information to dismantle what I know that I've researched as valid, you're not going to be able to. And then let me put this in there. It's not just about research, it's about experience. Because we get a lot of information. We live our lives on experience, not just information. It's information, it's experience. And then we make a decision off of that. Right, wrong, or indifferent.
True. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But even let me say this because this came to mind. Sometimes when we ask questions or we're trying to get to know more information, a lot of people can take it as you're coming off the wrong way, and that's not necessarily it. We have to be okay with having open dialogue where all parties don't agree. And I think we've gotten away from it because people are I wouldn't say so much want afraid to offend someone, but they don't want to come across wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But if you believe in something, you should be able, we all should be able to sit down and have open dialogue with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, some of it goes back to experience. You may have experienced something that I haven't experienced
Mm-hmm.
that can cause you to believe the way that you are believing. But you may gain some more knowledge by sitting, listening to what I know, and also from my experience. So
Yes.
that's what happens with a lot of things. Because a lot of times when we're sitting around and people are talking, I'm gonna say this, and this is just what I call it: talking but not really talking. That dumb conversation. And and that's just me. If you're not able to have, and again, this is why you got to be comfortable with being who you are and knowing the people that are meant for you. If you're not able to have that open dialogue, sometimes where you all are going to debate some things, you're going to have a point, they're going to have a point, and able to walk out the door and still be in relationship with that person, then maybe you need to evaluate it, the relationship itself. Because even with friends or whatnot, you should be comfortable enough to have those conversations. And I'm not talking about those surface conversations, because this is what happens sometimes in relationships and friendships and marriages and stuff. You have a lot of surface conversations and dumb talk, and you really don't know the person,
Yes. Yes.
what their thoughts are, what their beliefs are. So we got to be okay too to be able to give of ourselves to other people. Let them know who we are. Let them know what we stand for, why we stand for what we stand for, and not be afraid that they're going to look at you differently or they may judge you or whatnot in
Yes.
that. We've got to get back to having real conversations and being able to have those real conversations.
Yes. Well, Mel, it's time has come and time is here that our time is almost up. Um, this has been a very enlightening show today for our listeners. This has been enlightening. Stop believing the hype. It's time for you to um, do your research. It's time for you to reevaluate. It's time for you to set standards for your life so that you can be the best you that you are created to be. Stop looking at what they say, la da da, and everybody is doing. Focus on yourself so that you can be happy with yourself, with your decisions, right, wrong, and indifferent, and stand on it. Be okay to defend who you are and be in one with yourself and with your standard, whatever that is.
Yeah, whatever it is. And what we're talking about, it doesn't require, let me say this, I want to make sure I'm saying it correctly. It's an inward thing, it's not an outward thing. Because
Yes.
what we're talking about doing today is you got to be comfortable with yourself and know who you are and not focus on who the next person. That's inward work, that's not outward work.
Exactly.
So we need to sit down, especially in this time, and be comfortable in who we are and define who we are, define who our boundaries, what our boundaries are, define what success is from us, and then we can build on that and move forward.
Yes. Yes. Well, you guys, thank you for tuning in. Make sure that you like and share. If you haven't already, make sure you go to my page, Tara T. Stallings, and like my business page. Make sure you go to Melody's page, Inspired by Melody. Like her page on social media, on Instagram, on Facebook. Make sure you go to YouTube. If you're looking at YouTube, you can catch some of our shows that we've already posted on YouTube at Let's Talk Tar. Until next Tuesday, this has been Talk Therapy.
Tara, before we exit, I just want to say this. Next week, we do want to talk about the red table. So if there are any couples out there that are brave enough to come on with us, that are in poly relationships, something open relationships, yeah, I got a new word. Reach out to us because we want to talk with you all.
All right. Thank you, guys.